Hey, this is Ben at Bushwhacker, reminding you to get all your best Jeep news from the XJ Talk Show. And don't forget to follow Bushwhacker on Facebook and Twitter.
You already know about XJ Talk on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. But did you know we're on YouTube as well? We have off and on-road adventures, how-tos for fixing or augmenting your Jeep. Besides, man cannot live by sound alone, right? Come see what we got at youtube.com/user/XJTalk. Don't forget to subscribe and make comments on our videos.
xjtalk.com.
I know you've heard us talk about Amazon on the podcast before, but have you heard about our new game?
You bought what?
It's a lot of fun, and we want you guys to play along. All you have to do is go to xjtalk.com or xjtalkshow.com and click on the Amazon banner there on the main page. This takes you right to Amazon, where you can buy any crazy little thingamajig to join in on the fun. Amazon gives us a list every week of what you guys are buying, but we don't get to know who it is that's buying it. As an added bonus, you get the same great price you always would, and Amazon is going to give the show a small pittance for you playing along. So let's all have some fun. The XJ Talk Show and Amazon.com.
And good evening from the XJ Talk Show. I'm Motoroy. This is our pre-show. We'll be getting started here in just a few minutes, about 8 minutes. So hang in there. If you're with us live, welcome. If you're watching the YouTube video, which is the only place that you can hear this pre-show, unless you're watching it live, welcome, and glad you could join us on YouTube.
Breaking news across the XJ Talk Show news desk. Snowball fight goes terribly wrong and turns tragic when Frosty the Snowman is accidentally neutered. Full report coming up right after this.
XJ Talk Show is on the air. Okay, it's a podcast. Oh, you know what I mean. Anyway, here's Tony and Josh.
Hey, welcome to episode 108 of the XJ Talk Show. That's over 100, isn't it, Josh?
According to my fingers and toes, I think we have reached that mark.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you.
I was like, hey, my watch is off.
For you guys that don't know, Josh got up and ran out of the room real quick, and I was trying to start the show up, like make him think he started it up while he was gone.
Hey, I was just I was covering the bases. I was like, oh, if he's going to start early, I might as well be on point.
Well, we've got 5 voicemails tonight. Count them 5. 2.
Wow.
2 and 2. I think I put it in the show notes. And there's an extra special one that was actually sent in, recorded via their phone, I believe. So it's not our traditional voicemail, but we don't care.
Right.
So I'm all loaded up. I've got the extra intro you did. That's great. Thank you. You put a lot of work in tonight.
Yeah, I put in a lot of work this whole week. Over 50 hours already this week at work. Spent over an hour and a half commuting home this evening. Threw together a dinner. Ran into the studio here real quick, and I've been going just balls out ever since.
Okay, well, balls in for the show, though.
Yes.
Hey, there is, you won't be able to see it, not unless you look on Facebook or Google Plus. But there is a 44-inch dual row LED light bar sitting here behind me that I'll be trying to show during the show.
Man, I saw the post where you said you were going to order it, or that there would be one in your hands soon. I didn't know if you actually had ordered it, or what was going on with that, but, oh man, congratulations. That's a lot of sexy LED stuff, man. I'm jealous.
Since I was at least maybe younger, but at least 5 years old, it's been, watches and flashlights. So it's like, I've been holding back. I mean, when they were $1,500, I didn't buy one. No way in hell I was going to buy one.
No.
But this one was, $268 free shipping.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. And they're going to come down. They're going to come down half that, I'm sure, in the future, or they'll stay up that price and be 50,000 lumens instead of 24,000.
Right. Yeah. The technology, I think, is going to improve, and the price point is probably going to be right about the same, at least for that caliber of light. Yeah.
Kind of like TVs, TVs, they never get down to $5, but they could sell them for $5 if they wanted to. They just, try to keep the features and the clarity and blah, blah, blah up to a certain, so it makes it worth their while selling it. I may have mentioned this before. Have you heard of quantum dots?
No.
It's
Googling it.
Yeah. It's something that I think, Princeton or MIT, somebody came up with. They've been in existence for several years, 5 or 10 at least. and they found that they could put these quantum dots in a some sort of latex paint type thing, paint it onto a LED surface, and it would amplify the light coming into them. It would.
Yeah, I'm looking at some images here. That's just incredible.
It's almost like a. I mean, there's going to be an explanation for it, but it's almost like a violation of the the conservation of energy, because it appears to put out more light than what is energy. It puts out more energy in the form of light than what's put in. So the next big thing, I believe, is going to be quantum dots, and they can basically, it looks like they're going to be painted onto LEDs. So
that is cool stuff. I love this like super cutting edge technology. That's just incredible.
And I heard on, I know I'm running a little long here, but you listen to Steve Gibson's podcast, Security Now podcast, don't you?
Not super regularly. If there's a topic that comes up that I have some interest in, I'll pop in and listen to an episode. But no, I'm not an avid listener.
Well, you missed out, because Steve spoke about NASA going to be building an interferometer to measure the effects of a warp bubble.
No.
Yes.
Warp drive technology, here we come.
Yep, they're talking about the 4 light-year trip to the nearest star being a matter of weeks.
Outstanding.
Yep. Ought to move the Jeep along too, if you can just get it up in the air long enough to create the bubble.
Yeah, right. 88 miles per hour, all it takes.
Okay, so I've got the intro, I've got the other intro, I've got the 5 voicemails queued up. How did you want to handle the voicemails? Did you want to play one comment, or just play them all through and comment on all of them?
Let's do like what we did last show. Let's play and comment. Let's keep the comments, kind of in check, relatively short, so we don't end up with 20 minutes of voicemail and chit chat.
Yeah, who do you think you're talking to, man? I'm always brief. Alrighty, now let's. We got some viewers, so they're waiting on us. Okay, 3 minutes past. Yeah. That's still a lot earlier than the 15 past.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Breaking news across the XJ Talk Show news desk. Snowball fight goes terribly wrong and turns tragic when Frosty the Snowman is accidentally neutered. Full report coming up right after this.
Welcome to the XJ Talk Show. You're listening to the premier podcast about Jeep Cherokees, off-road adventures, tips that you can use, and interviews with people in the off-road industry. And now, here are your hosts, Tony and Josh.
Good evening. It's episode 108 of the XJ Talk Show, and Josh is waving at the camera, and I'm too busy talking to take the to take the screen down. Now you can see him. Hey, my name is Tony. You know me as Motorroy on xjtalk.com, and here's my co-host.
I'm Josh, otherwise known as NW99XJ or Northwest 99XJ.
I'm so glad you say that, because I always mess up the NW99 whatchamadoodle, everything, 56-ton steering, whatever it is.
Well, luckily, only one of us has got his tongue tied and his twers twisted.
Well, there's no guarantee for that. I mean, we have a whole contest based on tongue twisters, and that'll be next week. But this week, got a big treat for everybody. It's the return of Steve, 4.3 LXJ. He was able to get a Jeep tip uploaded to our Dropbox folder, and true to our word, we always like having additional people chime in on the show and be a part of it. If you'd like to be a part of it, you need to think long and hard about getting out there and, I don't know, getting Tap-A-Talk on your cell phone, or maybe getting you a digital audio recorder. There's all kinds of things you can do to, that thing that Josh is holding up right there for our live or YouTube audience. It's, what is that? That's a Zune H1?
Yeah, this is a Zune H1. This is a little device that I got off of Amazon.com, in fact, and I use it every show that I go to, all the off-road shows that I go to, any of the interviews that I do that are out on the scenes. This little handy-dandy device right here, it's what I use to record all that stuff with, and it's very inexpensive, folks. Even you guys can afford one of these if you want to be an XJ Talk Show reporter.
Yeah, I think I got mine because I took it to go to SEMA, not knowing what to expect at SEMA as far as interview opportunities. So I made sure I grabbed one before I went. Didn't really get any interviews, but maybe next year. Anyway, I bought one just like that because Josh's sounds so good. And about the only trick to it is you don't want to be moving around with your hand a lot because it's a very inexpensive plastic case, and it will make a lot of noise.
Yep, it is a very sensitive device. Although it be inexpensive, it does sound great, and thanks for the kind words, Tony.
It's great.
But
well, I had to have one because it sounds so good.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you're using your cell phone with the Tape-A-Talk app, just kind of make sure you guys are holding it still and try and at least get yourself into a quiet environment. Definitely helps things out, but it's not necessary.
Nah, we can do a lot of stuff in the cleanup in the audio software that we have. Now, one thing I did want to say. I want to make a correction. Josh said it correctly. It's Tape-A-Talk. I always get Tape-A-Talk and Tap-A-Talk confused. But since I brought up Tap-A-Talk, I'll tell you about that too. Tap-A-Talk is a way that you can visit the xjtalk.com website, which if you don't already know, it's a Jeep Cherokee forum. And really the reason why we're here, we started this whole podcast and actually named the show kind of the same way to help join those two avenues of entertainment and technical expertise together. So this is kind of like, I guess, what would be the audio form of the forum, except it's just two guys instead of 2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah, and folks, we've got a jam-packed show for you this evening. Tony and I are going to do some chit-chatting about our own Jeeps. I've got some This Week in Jeep news for you. I'm going to keep it short this week because we definitely have some other stuff going to go on tonight as well. It is the Christmas season after all, so Tony and I are going to go over some gift ideas for those out there who haven't really made their wish list yet, or maybe are looking for to add something to somebody else's wish list. In any case, we've got a whole great big list of stuff we're going to go over for you guys. Some really awesome off-road gifts. Of course, as Tony mentioned earlier in the show, we have the return of Steve 4.3 LXJ with another Jeep Tips. I'm looking forward to that. Total surprise for me. I have no idea what's in store, but we'll definitely get to that later on. We got some voicemails, a lot of voicemails. You guys have been calling the show a lot, and we really appreciate it, so keep up the good work there. And, of course, we got some other stuff for you in store as well. So stick around, guys. We'll dive into this here in just a moment.
Yep. Actually, sorry about that, Josh. It is Steve's going to be talking to us about the doing cheap front lifts on the Cherokee.
Oh, hey, good topic.
Yep. I did put it in the show notes, but I don't think I actually put what it was.
Yeah.
Because I can read it. If I can read it, you should know what it is, right?
Yes. Mind reading is coming in now.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Who gets to start? Because I got something new I want to show.
Go for it.
Okay. So as I was mentioning in the pre-show, and I've probably said before, since I was very young, 4 or 5 years old, I've had a interest in wristwatches and flashlights. Well, folks, I recently got a couple of flashlights for the
you did
for the Jeep, and a couple of 7-inch LED bars and 120-inch LED bar, replacing the 4 100-watt KC daylighters that I had on there. KCs are just beautiful, nice round big headlights, just really nice. Exactly what in my head what a Jeep should look like.
And for many, many years, Tony, was the industry standard, the go-to as far as off-road lighting was concerned.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had a couple of KC lights on my my pickup truck, my 1983 Chevrolet pickup truck, 4-wheel drive. It was I bought it new in '83. That's how long ago that was. So it was a bittersweet taking the KCs off, but I did move them over to the 99. You can see all that stuff on xjtalk.com and also on Facebook, Twitter, and even Tumblr. But boy, you just can't beat technology. Those 3 little LED light bars that I put on there put out probably twice, if not 3 times as much light as the 2 KCs, and they put it out over a wider area. And after all, isn't that what we're looking for? Is to blind the hell out of? I'm sorry, to be able to see what we're when we're driving off road, and to see the limbs and see the trees before they jump out in front of us.
Well, Tony, I'm glad you brought that up. A Jeepin' buddy of mine, his name's Mike. I'm sure he's listening. So, hey, Mike. He recently got a set of rigid lights, LED lights for his wife's Jeep. She was complaining about the low output on her lights, and they just recently got a new house, kind of out in the sticks a little bit. So there's especially this time of year, a lot of fog involved and stuff. And with those narrow country roads and stuff that are windy and twisty, it was a little dangerous, honestly.
Yeah.
And so just merely as a safety concern, he went and got a couple of those, the little square, I think they're called the duals, the rigid duals. So I think it's 4 LEDs in one little module. He got a pair of those, and I think he got the same 12-inch or 20-inch light bar that you did. And he got a set of those truck light LED headlights as well. And so she's all LED'd out right now. And like you had mentioned, in comparison to the KC headlights, a good twice the amount of light coming out the front of the Jeep now as before. And now she even said that, yeah, I can see the road as if it was daylight now, with as much light that's coming off the front of her Jeep. Yeah, I've seen it in person, folks. These LED lights are amazing. And if nothing else, for a safety concern, you definitely want to upgrade.
Well, I'll remind everybody, because it's not that easy yet to replace the headlights. But with the LEDs, because those are still a little too expensive. But
they are pricey, yeah.
Yeah, but I will recommend the LMC truck wiring harness. Even if you don't change the lights with the IFPs or even the Silver Stars. The Silver Stars are pretty easy because they're like $20 each, and they're sealed halogen. And they put out a lot more light, but they don't just do the headlights. You got to do the LMC truck harness. I've done it on my 98. I've done it on the 2003 TJ, and I've done it on the 99. Yeah, and I've done it on the 99 XJ. And everybody that drives those Jeeps remarks on how much better they can see. So you don't, and the LMC truck harness is $40. It's like $30 plus $10 shipping. And you go to lmctruck.com. It's actually for a Chevrolet truck. I'm sorry, I don't have the information with me, but you can go to xjtalk.com, do a little search on my little write-up on the IFP headlights that I used. But for the 99, I just went with the Silver Stars, and actually the 03 TJ, also Silver Stars, and I see very little difference between my 88 watt / 110 watt bulbs and my IFPs, yeah, and the Silver Stars, the street legal Silver Stars.
Let me just make one small correction here, Tony. I'm sorry to correct you, but it's IPF. They are a division of ARB, and they do sell a harness unto themselves as well. That's pretty much the exact same thing. Yeah, it is. It's about 3 times as much, and I think you're paying a little bit more for the name there as well. But they do have the H4 housings if you want to go a step further and do the swap out as well. I'm sure you guys have heard, if you've done some research on headlight harnesses, there is I think it's called the E-Auto Works, which is about a $30, $36 harness as well. I like Tony's idea. Go to LMC Truck. Heck, if they're on Power Block TV, those guys swear by them. Head over to LMC Truck and get the harness there. You're probably going to end up with a little bit better of a product.
Well, I'm only going with what I've used. I mean, you may have had luck with something else. Okay, now here's to the point. The whole point of me talking about lights and stuff. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to show this thing.
It's too big, isn't it?
It is. It's too big. I tried to take a picture of it. Here, this will be like the Titanic going by the stationary camera. This is 40. Oh, my God. They're heavy, too. I can't believe how heavy they are.
Are they really? It's
aluminum, but I'm still surprised how heavy it is. Anyway, this is a 44-inch, 24,000 lumen dual row. And it has the spot and flood, the pattern. Oh, and by the way, you were asking about that 20-inch, and you couldn't tell it by looking at it just without it off, but it definitely makes a spot. There's a big spot in the middle and a flood on either side. Okay. So, yeah, that 20-inch is a spot flood, just like it was supposed to be. But anyway, looking forward to getting this thing on the Jeep and blinding the hell and being able to see on the trail at night.
Well, that's the important part. I mean, the safety concern while driving, daily driving, commuting, is one thing, but being able to see everything out on the trail is just so important, especially when you're night wheeling, or if you end up getting stuck out there and you're coming back, after dark. I mean, there's been several times where, we've been wheeling, we go out in the early morning, something happens, a long recovery, a bad break, something like that, and you end up on the trail a lot longer than what you were expecting. And being prepared is, well, paramount. It's very important.
Exactly.
And getting back safely is probably even more so. And these LED lights will definitely help you in that category. That's for sure.
Yeah, people give me a lot of crap about not taking my vehicle off-road and buying all this stuff for it. I guess the alternative would be, if I'm not taking it off-road, I should wait until I take it off-road, then prepare. Is that the way you'd see it, Josh?
Well, I was a Boy Scout, so, the whole, be prepared sort of thing. And so I completely overpack. I overpack when I'm going to the grocery store. So, when I go out on the trail, man, the whole back end of the Jeep is just full of tools and gear and all sorts of stuff. I'm over prepared. And that's just the way that I was sort of brought up. Now, there has been instances where, oh, geez, I don't have a zip tie, or geez, I wish I had this one tool that I know that I forgot on my workbench or something like that. Stuff happens, forget things, something slips your mind, whatever. And this is why it's so important, guys and gals, to make sure you're not wheeling alone. When you're going out, especially at night, make sure you're wheeling with a buddy.
I mean, you don't want to leave your Jeep out there, I know, but it'd be a lot worse you being out there all by yourself and not having a way back, or at least you can stay with your Jeep and your buddy can go get the tools that you need to get the job done, or drag your ass out of there. Exactly. Matt recently went to Colorado. He and a buddy that was driving a Toyota, I think it was back in September, and he had just put his 42-inch light bar on his Jeep, and they were up on a mountain. I think they went up there around 4:00 in the afternoon, and their intention was to be off that mountain before dark, but that's not the way it worked out. And, the Toyota had decent lighting on it. There wasn't any LED light bars, certainly not a 42-inch LED light bar. And they had to make their way off that slippery, wet, dangerous mountain at night. And because Matt had that 42-inch LED light bar, let's just put it this way. The Toyota buddy said he was getting one because it made all the difference in the world as far as safety goes. So, they're fun. They look cool. You can blind the hell. I mean, you can see where you're going on the trail, and it's a lot of fun. And come on, guys, that's really one of the things about this hobby is it's so much fun just to do things and put it together and make it work. So, you can have fun, but you can also be practical too. What was it, a couple of years ago? I don't know if you saw this on the news or not, Josh. It was a couple of years ago that there was mayhem because of all the ice and snow on a highway. People could not go anywhere. It was so bad. And there was a buggy out there. I think he had front and rear steering. He was pulling people off the highway. Do you remember this? Did you ever see this?
No.
I think
it
was national. It was national news. It was great.
Very, very nice. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that gives us off-roaders a great name. Great reputation anyways.
Yep. Oh, Josh, I forgot all about it. What's going on with the motor mounts, man?
Okay, so I've narrowed it down. Last episode, I told you I've narrowed it down to 3. I was still looking for your guys' help to make my final decision. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to end up going with the Brown Dog motor mounts. I'm going to go with the polyurethane on the motor mounts. I think I'm going to stick with rubber on the tranny mount. I don't want to stiffen up that whole drivetrain too terribly much, but I'm dead set on getting the Brown Dog motor mounts with the engine plates. After doing some research and really, kind of weighing everything out and taking into consideration the kind of terrain, the kind of wheeling that I do, and my own driving characteristics, along with where my Jeep is in its build and where it's going, honestly, the engine plates are a necessity for, at least in my mind, for this phase of things.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I could do it in stages. I could just get some motor mounts, slap them in there, and then get the plates later on. But it is cheaper if you get everything all at once. It's still, over $300. It's a hefty investment. And this time of year, guys, I got to be honest, I just don't have the extra cash right now for that kind of a purchase. So it's going to have to wait for a little while. I think what I'm going to end up having to do, almost out of necessity more than anything, is slap another set of OEMs in there just to kind of tide me over for a little while until I can, put a little bit of money under the belt and get the holiday season out from underneath of us. And then I'll go ahead and invest in those brown dogs. But that's the direction I'm going to go.
Well, what's the OEMs are about $30, aren't they?
Yeah, it's, I mean, I think I can even get a set for less than that. I've got some connections at some part stores and stuff around here. I'm sure I can end up spending, around, if not less than $30 to get a set of OEMs in there. So, and it's going to last me as long as I need them to until I get the brown dogs. It's only going to be, a month or two until I am able to afford those brown dogs. So, they will be coming, folks. So I've got a wheeling trip coming up the first week of January. I really don't want to miss it because I'm itching to get out and play in some snow. So I'm going to try and get something done by then. It's not going to be the brown dogs, but I am going to have something under the hood.
Yeah, you'll be okay. But shameless plug, don't forget to check Amazon for your motor mount prices before you buy them anywhere, because they may have a better price. So, and also too, you don't have to go anywhere. The only thing they don't do is put them on for you. And,
exactly.
And you know that these things will last at least 6 months. I still can't believe, looking at the pictures on xjtalk.com, I can't believe those things are 6 months old. Good Lord. I've never seen one
folks,
that bad.
Yeah. You guys got to head over, check out my build thread. Just go over to xjtalk.com, do a quick search for NW99XJ. My whole build thread is up on there. You guys can see the entire buildup of my Jeep from the day that I got it, from it was bone stock, my little 99XJ with a 1-inch sag in the rear, to the way it is today with a pretty decent rock crawler. The whole thread is up there. Tons of pics, some great write-ups and stuff too. But you guys can see those motor mounts. I got some really good close-up pictures of them, just completely thrashed.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done there. So I was looking here at the notes, and this is something I hadn't seen anything or heard anything about before. You think somebody was messing with your Jeep?
I do, Tony. Last night, this was, very recent. So we're talking just barely 24 hours ago. I was sitting watching TV in the living room. It was getting kind of late, it was around my bedtime, roughly
8:30?
about 10 o'clock or so, and I'm just, sitting there watching TV, and I'm at the point where I'm starting to wind down pretty good. My eyes are starting to get heavy. I'm ready to call it a night just about. And I hear my alarm chirp. Now, folks, I've done a podcast in the past. I've done a show where I covered over some security tips. Just last week, in fact, I broke a story about Cherokees getting stolen all over the place.
Oh yeah.
So this is something that's sort of fresh in my head. And I like to protect my investment. So I've got an alarm on all of my vehicles, and the Jeep, of course, is no exception. Now, it's not super duper state of the art, but you know what? It works and it does what it's supposed to do. And it did it last night. I was sitting there watching TV and I heard the alarm chirp, and I was like, first it didn't quite dawn on me. Like, wait a minute, what was that? Oh crap, that's my alarm. So I spring up, and right then it chirps again. I'm opening up the door, keys in hand. I'm running out. I'm in socks and shorts and stuff like that. Run out there. Everything's all wet and frozen. And I didn't see anybody. That doesn't mean nobody was there. Alarms just don't chirp on themselves, by themselves. Somebody was definitely messing with the Jeep. There was no cars that had just driven by, with a loud system. There's no dump trucks or anything like that going by. So somebody must have been hiding in the bushes or something. I'm thinking maybe somebody was going after my one of my D-rings or something, one of my Clevis shackles in the back, maybe trying to, take a look at my roof rack or something like that, or peering into the Jeep a little bit too long. I don't know. In any case, my Jeep was tampered with last night, and I don't take that kind of stuff lightly.
No, I know you're trying to save up money for some motor mounts, some good motor mounts, but I'll tell you and all the listeners, you can get a very inexpensive night vision security camera. And actually, if you got an old PC, you can load Linux up on it, and ZoneMinder, which is some security software, is also free and is on at least the Fedora Core distributions. And you can load that up and run like a USB camera. Just put a single camera on your Jeep or anything, and it'll record motion. So you don't actually have to have a large hard drive. It'll just capture motion, and you can actually see if somebody was messing around with it. It would answer your question whether or not there was somebody actually tampering with it, and giving you a good idea and some evidence to give to the police about who to look for.
It's true. I actually know somebody who's got one of those Harbor Freight security systems. It comes with a DVR, 4 IR cameras. It's $299. It's $300 for a 4-camera DVR security system.
Yeah, that's a lot easier way to go. It's probably just a little pricier than what I'm talking about, because you could do it on the cheap for under $100.
Right. This way, I could protect the entire property for the most part.
No, that's true.
I told you just over the summer, I was doing some cleanup right before the fall began, and found a backpack underneath a bush in my front yard. And come to find out, some kid had gotten in some trouble. He had some stolen items in there or something like that. Looked up his name and ID and found out that he was an inmate and had just been arrested just a couple weeks prior on several counts of some nasty crimes. And nothing violent, but nonetheless, this kid is up to no good and stashed some ill-begotten goods under a bush in my front yard. So, obviously he got what was coming to him, but it's that kind of stuff that I'd like to protect myself, my investments, my property, and my family with something like this. Tony, I've actually thought it several times about getting something like this. I live in a fairly decent neighborhood. This kind of thing does not happen very often. In the 5 years or so that I've been here at this house, this is, I think, the first time that I've had to jump up and run out into the yard looking for somebody who's messing with my stuff. So, this kind of thing doesn't happen very often. But you guys, for those who have been victims in the past, you guys know it only takes once.
Yeah, and you never know when a bad element's going to move into your neighborhood.
Yeah, the XJ Talk Show is now available on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star rating.
xjtalk.com. It's where you go when you're not off-road.
Hey, it's Matt Adair with Petty Cash Racing. Tune into the XJ Talk Show to find out more about our team and the Jeep we all love.
First Week in Jeep.
Well, guys, believe it or not, I'm not going to talk about the Cherokee too much this time around. I know just about every single episode I go off on a rant and a tangent and bitch about that thing more times than you guys can probably shake a stick at. And you're probably sick and tired of hearing it. Well, I got something that's probably going to piss you off even worse. Now, Jeep seems eager to just piss everybody off nowadays. Just when the sting from Jeep's ballsy and obviously ill-advised idea to bring back the iconic name badge of the Cherokee, Jeep is doing it again. This time they aim to royally screw up or piss off the more nostalgic Jeep enthusiasts by doing what they did with the Cherokee name badge. But this time, they're doing it with the Jeepster. That's right, guys. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Jeepster was the nickname for the Commando, Jeep's answer to the Land Cruiser and Bronco back in the 60s. And it debuted as a first-year production in 1966 and under Kaiser production until roughly about 1970 when AMC took over. But it remained in production until 1973 when it was replaced by our beloved predecessor, the Cherokee. Now I'm talking about the full-size version here, peeps, not the XJs that we all drive. Now the pint-sized 2015 Jeep Jeepster is reportedly headed to the Geneva Motor Show in March of 2014. The new Fiat-based Jeep Jeepster will replace both the Jeep Compass and the Jeep Patriot in Jeep's lineup and serve as the storied brand's new entry-level model. Now, despite early spy shots showing the Jeep Jeepster being more than a passing resemblance to the Fiat 500X, which I've seen this thing personally, at least on, not in person, but on the spy photos online, it's hideous. Oh my, it looks like a bloated Geo Metro 4-door. It's just absolutely hideous. Now, Drive.com reports that the Jeepster will have a design linking it to the iconic Willys MB Jeep. Like the Compass and the Patriot, the Jeepster is designed to replace the compact crossover, will come in both front and all-wheel drive. Well, very similar to Cherokee, of course. Probably is going to end up having the same drivetrain, if I'm guessing. It should be right on Fiat's flexible small-wide platform, and a trail-rated version, similar to the 2014 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, is almost guaranteed. Now, while the Jeepster will be available globally with both gas and diesel engines, the diesel will probably not make it to the U.S., unfortunately. We're probably going to be seeing this thing in a 2.4-liter, 184 horsepower inline-4, or the same power plant as the Fiat 500Ls, which is 160 horsepower, 1.4-liter turbo 4-cylinder. The 2015 Jeep Jeepster is expected to go into production late next year. Just seriously, shoot me now, please. Guys, I've obviously am going to have something more to rant about. So stay tuned. Oh boy, this one's going to be an interesting ride. And if you guys know of a Jeep story that deserves attention here on the XJ Talk Show, please email your story, email your link over at newstips@xjtalk.com.
Yep, and we appreciate the individuals that have been doing that. I know Pre-Runner 1982 has sent some items in to us.
Yes, he has. I don't think him enough as well when those stories do pop up, but him as well as XJ Wheeler. So both John and Jake, you guys, here's a big official thank you for the work you guys have done to help me out on Jeep Tips, or on This Week in Jeep, rather.
Yeah, and we appreciate you guys being members of the XJ Talk Show team. So I guess it would be let's get into those voicemails, Josh. These are going to be kind of fun, and get your alligator skin on. It needs to be thick.
Oh boy. Okay. Here we go.
It's going to be for both of us too. Hey, this is Tony.
And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I just heard the funniest thing today. I was getting caught up on XJ Talk Show podcast. And this guy Tony that's on there, he said the funniest thing. He said something about taking his Jeep off-road. You know what? I've never seen one picture of that guy's Jeep with any mud on it. And now he's got this damn snorkel hanging off the side of it. I wonder what that's for. Talking about air, fuel mileage and miles per gallon and all that crap. Went on to say he had to put it in four-wheel drive when he was driving in the rain. I thought, well, this guy is a real off-roader. He knows what's up with these Jeeps. Anyway, guys, Denver D1, just checking in. Hadn't talked to y'all in a while. Just thought I'd see what's up. Oh, keep it red and stay real. Stay classy. San Diego out.
Ooh, red Jeeps are sexy.
Yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, there's obviously a big, color battle going on the website. It's, red Jeeps versus green Jeeps. Of course, the black Jeep owners like myself kind of try and get a jab in there every now and again. But that's where the red comment was coming from.
And it's from black Jeep, so you don't even see it coming.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, appreciate the comments. Yeah, it's been a long time since you've called in. I thought we were going to have to play the Walking Dead promo.
Oh man! As soon as I heard that laugh, I knew instantly who it was.
Yeah,
I could tell that Denver D1 laugh from a mile away.
Well, here's one from Nikki G.
Hey, this is Nikki G, and I just listened to the podcast and you guys talking about the LED lights and everything, and everybody wants them. They're all the rave. I don't like them. I don't want them. I kind of like skulking around in the shadows, just jumping out at surprising people whenever I feel like it. Every TV show I've ever seen, the element of surprise has always been very sought after and highly regarded. Batman doesn't announce to the Riddler when he's about to hop out and kick some ass. He just does it and then uses his gadgetry to get away. Kind of like how I like my driving style. I don't want people to see me coming. Usually when they see me coming, they scatter. All right, gentlemen, I will catch it. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, but I think that's, aluminum foil is shiny, right? He's got to.
Yeah, I was going to say, they'll see the tinfoil hat coming before they see Tony or see Nikki G coming.
Nikki G's been a great sport about the tinfoil hat thing. His avatar on xjtalk.com is a tinfoil hat, and he did something the other day about put a post up about tinfoil. I can't remember what it was.
It was the link to the official tinfoil hat Wikipedia.
Yes.
Page. That's what it was.
It was hilarious. They even got Wayne and Christchurch wound up. He thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Yeah, I recently stumbled across a couple of Nikki G's videos on YouTube, and had to leave him some comments and stuff, and have some good time. So yeah, you guys got to go check out Nick G on YouTube.
Yeah, there was. I was really surprised, and it was one of his videos was quite helpful because I was getting ready to do for the first time ever an oil filter adapter O-ring change, and he had it out and was showing it on the YouTube video, and he had to have a comedic moment when he dropped the bolt. He looked down like a kid had dropped his ice cream cone. And here's another one. This is our super secret one, and Josh, this one is just for you.
Okay.
And now, a message from Josh's subconscious. Alright, Josh, you know you totally should have bought better motor mounts to begin with, and now you're stuck with a wiggly motor. What to buy? What to buy? What to buy? I think I like Brown Dog, because that yellow is just, well, it's just fabulous. Be that as it may, Iron Man Andy sure does have some beef that I can really sink my teeth into. Rather some welds that are manly. And he can paint them red, which is just so hot. Plus, he's really buff too, and that certainly helps. Oh well, I'm sure I'll figure it out. Does Martha Stewart come on tonight? Or was that tomorrow, more or less?
Now, I've been threatened. I mean, I've been told there'll be some more of these coming up.
Oh man, that good times right there. Thank you so much. That is the kind of stuff I love. I love hearing that kind of stuff. That is great. That is imaginative. That is creative. And man, I just love the involvement. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
I've been sitting on that one for about a week, Josh, and didn't tell you anything about it. So I just wanted to ambush you on the show.
Oh, that is great. No, my cheeks are hurting because I'm smiling so hard, man. That who did that? Give God props and kudos, man. That is great work.
That one's going to remain anonymous until he decides to come out. All right. And let you know.
If you want to call into the voicemail line and give credit for that, fine. You want to stay anonymous, that's cool too. But thanks, and here I'll give you a salute for that. That's a good one right there. Thank you.
And here's our second one from Nikki G.
We're clear to go. It's all yours. Hey, this is Nikki G. I want to say, you know how Santa Claus can get all those toys delivered in one night? It's because his sleigh is red. All right, gentlemen, I'll chat later. Bye.
Ooh, red Jeeps are sexy.
Yes, they are. And here's our final voicemail. Our second one from Denver D1.
All right.
What's up, guys? Denver D1 here, checking in with y'all again. I see we've graduated from zombies to butt plugs. Wow. Just want to take a moment to give you guys a kind of a public service announcement. This podcast is about Jeeps, more specifically red Cherokees. I'm not sure what the hell y'all are doing over there, but anyway, keep up the good work. Y'all keep rocking. Love you.
That's for you, Denver. What?
No, I'm not going to do it.
Oh. Thought you were going to do it. Oh, that would have been a great wrap up there for him. No, guys, what he's referring to is our game that we play, the Amazon You Bought and What. We will be doing it again next week, so make sure you guys tune into episode 109 for that. But we get some curveballs thrown to us every now and again with some really off the wall and sometimes, nearly X-rated items that pop up on the list. And yes, there was a butt plug that ended up on the list. And of course, when that kind of stuff pops up, we have to get that on the air because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and also too, we pardon the pun, it kind of gets our creative juices flowing in a way that we can to articulate that and still keep it a close to a family show,
close to a PG-13 show. Yeah.
Santa's made his list and he's checked it twice. I know if you've been naughty or nice. And if you know a good boy or girl deserves an off-road gift, well, Tony and Josh has something in store for you.
That was great. I'm sorry, guys. That's the first I've heard of it because Josh and I play this thing so close. to the wire, getting everything ready. That's the first I heard that. That's great, Josh. Every time I do something, it just sounds like me. I can't do a different voice.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, guys, we do have a little bit of a Christmas themed segment here for you guys. It being, of course, the Christmas season, and of course, us, wheelers, we like to get gifts under the tree that are Jeep related or at least off-road related. In all the years that I've owned my Jeep, I have not gotten one item that has been Jeep related. Now, I did get a great upgrade to my tool set one year, and that has proved to be invaluable on a lot of the upgrades to my Jeep. So it's always nice to get tools, but we've got a list for you guys of some other stuff that is definitely trail related, Jeep related, and certainly off-road related. So if you've got an off-road enthusiast in your life, in your circle of influence, all of these items that we're about to go over are available on Amazon.com. That is except for one item that I wasn't able to find on Amazon, but I threw it in there just because it's such an invaluable tool, and any off-roader would definitely be very happy to receive that. But we'll get to that later on.
Now,
so and really quick here before we dive into this, when I say these items are on Amazon.com, you guys know how that works. Make sure you head over to xjtalk.com or xjtalkshow.com. Click on that Amazon link up there on the homepage. It takes you to Amazon where you guys can get all of this stuff or any of this stuff, and we'll get a little bit of a credit for it as well.
Now, ladies, if you're looking to get your man some stocking stuffers, some of these will fit in stockings, and he'll appreciate it, and he may reciprocate and stuff your stocking, if you know what I mean.
Hey, there you go. Now, guys, we kept this kind of budget friendly. We broke this down into some price segments a little bit because everybody's on a little bit tighter of a budget nowadays. So we've got some gifts that are under $20. We got some gifts that are even under $100. And we've got some stuff that's a little bit over $100, but we didn't go crazy with the stuff. So a lot of good stuff on here. Everything is useful. A lot of it will work on a Jeep or with a Jeep. So get your pencils and paper out, guys. This is stuff you're definitely going to want to add to your wish list.
Oh, and we will have all these links on our show notes. So if you haven't been over to the xjtalkshow.com site, now will be a good reason for you to do that. Or ladies, if you want to get your man, or men, if you want to get your ladies that are lady Jeepers something, just go over to the xjtalkshow.com website, and you'll be able to click on these, and it'll take you straight to Amazon.
Well, I guess I'll start it off as many of you listeners out there know, the early model Cherokees, the 84 to 96 XJs, they did not come with cup holders like the 97 to 2001 Cherokees did. And for many of you guys who know, who've done some searching, there's all kinds of mods and tricks and stuff that you can do to add a set of cup holders. Well, there's an actual item that you can get, which is a bona fide add-on cup holder. It just screws right onto the center console, still has clearance for your e-brake handle and everything, and it's only $5.98. It is the 84 to 96 Jeep Cherokee new cup holder.
That's priced right. I don't know that it would fit into stocking, but that's priced right for a stocking stuffer.
You can't buy a piece of PVC pipe for $6 that you're going to have to cut and cap and weld and glue into place and everything to hold your beverage. This thing is less than $6 and gives you 2 cup holders, in fact.
For yourself and a friend. So,
that's right.
Do I get to steal from yours? Because I didn't.
There's no particular order, Tony, and I put up plenty up there to share. I kind of went above and beyond as far as the items up here, just because I thought all the stuff was definitely apropos and would make a good spot on the list here. So yeah, feel free to dive in here and take any one of these.
All right. So the next one here on the list is a Jeep Trail rated 4x4 nameplate. And you can pop these off of 2014 Jeep Cherokee, or you can buy them here at Amazon. No, I don't know that they actually have them on there. I'm just saying because, if you can deface a Cherokee, 2014 Cherokee, do it. But not really. Do it. But anyway, this is $16.95, and it has a nice little 4x4 emblem with mountains and trail rated on there. So that would be pretty. Josh, where would you put that on yours?
Well, if I was to put one of these on mine, it would probably go somewhere on the front quarter panel, maybe just in front of the front door. You guys can see these things on like the Commanders. I think they even had them on some of the Patriots and Liberties that were actually trail rated. Folks, this is an authentic Jeep badge. It is it's either one of those high dense plastics. It could be die cast metal. I'm not sure. In any case, this is this isn't a sticker. This is a badge.
Oh yeah.
So it's a raised piece that will go onto the vehicle. It'll definitely stand out when you're out mall crawling.
3D and everything.
Yeah, that's right. Well, guys, a friend of the show, he's been on the show, in fact, before, Eric Zappi. He has released another book, and this is one that you definitely want to add to the collection. Still under $20. In fact, it's under $19 even. And this appears to be the second edition and a great follow-up to the high-performance Jeep Cherokee XJ Builder's Guide, which if you don't have it already, guys, you got to go out there, add this to your wish list. I got one for Christmas many, many years ago, back before I got my Cherokee. Knew I was going to be getting an XJ, and I just had to have this book. It's a must-have for any Cherokee owner, even if you're a long-time Jeep modifier. It's just chock full of great pictures, tons of useful advice, especially for the new Jeeper out there. But this one here goes into a little more detail on some of the more advanced modifications to the Jeep. Things like, frame stiffeners and cutting and folding quarter panels and stuff like that. A little bit more next-level modifications, but if it's anything like his last book, man, you guys definitely have to get this. It's the Ultimate Jeep Cherokee XJ Performance Guide by Eric Zappi.
And moving up to under $100, we have the Rough Country Front Sway Bar Quick Disconnects for 3.5 to 6.5 inch lifts. Anyway, they're $69.95, also at Amazon.com. And I'm about 99.9% sure that these are the ones I have on my 98. I specifically wanted these because you disconnect them low and then pivot them up to a bracket where they stay in place while you go out and do your wheeling, and you don't have to keep up with pins or little middle pieces that you have to put back in place and yada yada. But I would recommend a nice little rubber mallet because it's really hard to get a nice level surface to sit on once you're done wheeling. Last time I went wheeling, I went down to Creekside, and I drove off of Creekside down the highway and pulled into the gas station because I figured that concrete area was probably the most flat surface. And even then, I had to pound on those things to get them back on, and then drove the 70 miles back home.
Yeah, guys, this will work for just about any lift out there. 3.5 to 6.5 inches. That covers everything from just over a budget boost to a long arm suspension system. Which, if you're getting into that kind of, that kind of a suspension system, chances are you might already have a set of these. Now, folks, these do wear out over time. Just like with any sort of component of the suspension system, they do take a little bit of abuse. And so they will occasionally wear out. If your suspension links or sway bar quick disconnect links are worn out, they're clinking and clanking and making a bunch of noise, well, this might be a handy dandy upgrade. And like Tony said, it's only $70, just under $70. And well, they're adjustable and they will work for you. Well, as we were talking in the beginning of the show about how important lighting is, and this is a modification that I've done to my own Jeep. This is an H4 upgrade, getting rid of the sealed beams out of the front of the Jeep and putting in dedicated housings with replaceable bulbs. And Rampage is long since been one of the forerunners as far as replacements, H4 replacement kits. And this is the Rampage Products Rectangular Headlight H4 Conversion Kit. It's $97.99, but it comes with two housings that do have glass. The front of them is glass. The back is cast, and they do come with bulbs as well. So you're getting the housings, good quality housings with great beam patterns, a great reputation, as well as bulbs. It's almost a plug-and-play kit, guys. Definitely a very, very good upgrade for the front of your Jeep.
And just to remind you, just go over to either xjtalkshow.com or the xjtalk.com website, and you will see a Amazon banner. Click on that banner. It'll take you over to Amazon.com. Then you can buy these things, and the show will get a taste of a few pennies every time you buy something, and it won't cost you anything more.
That's right. Not a single dime more you're going to spend for any of this stuff by clicking on the links over on our home pages.
Helps us buy tea to drink for while we're doing the show. Anyway, here's a thing that pretty much anybody should have. There's really no reason not to have one of these things flopping around at the back of your rig. It's a, what is it? Q Industries MV50 Super Flow high volume 12 volt air compressor. And this thing is only $60, $59.89 to be exact. And it's the right color. Josh, remind me. I think this is one of those ones that is an inexpensive air pump, but it is air compressor, but it's rated very well by the Jeepers and the off-road people because it has some good volume to pump up the tires, and it's very inexpensive for what it can do.
In fact, I've got personal experience, Tony, because I have one of these pumps. In fact, I swear by it. And the reason I got this pump is because another Jeeper had recommended it, because for 7 years it's been going strong for him, and he swears by it.
That's great.
Folks, this thing does have 120 PSI. It does have a fairly substantial duty cycle. It comes with a 16-foot coiled hose. It comes with a storage bag as well. Several tips, interchangeable tips and whatnot. It has a somewhat accurate gauge. It'll definitely get you in the ballpark. I always recommend that you use a good quality tire gauge when you're either deflating or inflating your tires as well. But guys, this is the one that is in the back of my Jeep. This is the one that I use. And guys, this will take my 33 1250 15 tires from about 8 PSI to 35 PSI in about a half hour. That's all 4 of them. Now, that's a lot of air moving, and that's a lot of air to pump around. And yeah, it's not as fast as a pressurized tank or a dedicated onboard air system. There we go. But you know what? It does the trick, and it's going to make sure it's going to do it every single time.
Always a good thing to have, and you never know when you might need it just going back and forth to work or even to and from the trail, especially going home, because you don't know, you may get some damage to your tire and you're not aware of it until the ride back home.
Yeah, I've got this right next to a plug kit, one of those patch kits. It's got the spike and the little strips and everything. You get a sidewall puncture, or you end up with a nail in your tire or something like that. Well, it's an easy plug. It takes just a few minutes and, a few minutes more to pump up your tires with one of these things.
I have to be honest, after Denver D1's voicemail about the butt plug thing, when you said you had a plug kit next to this, I wanted to get on chat real second. No, Josh, TMI. Seriously, you said a plug kit, and I'm going,
Well, folks, as much as I have tried, anytime that I buy something from Amazon, just because I'm a part of the show, it doesn't seem to end up on the list. All the stuff that I've purchased through Amazon doesn't make it on the list. I think it's just because I'm part of the show or something. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but no, those kind of things are not in the back of the Jeep, and nor are they in my possession. But something that should be in your possession, and just about any off-roaders, is some good recovery gear. And this is something that I've got on the back of my Jeep. It's a Smitty-built 29312B receiver hitch D-ring with a 3/4 inch shackle for 2-inch receivers. So that's basically just about any Class 2, Class 3 hitch and above. Any 2-inch receiver is going to take this thing. And folks, this is a solid chunk of steel.
It really is.
It's really rated for thousands and thousands of pounds. I don't have the numbers in front of me right this second, but guys, I have used this thing to pull out people that have been stuck in mud. I've drug them around the mountain when their suspension, when their drivetrain has failed. Guys, this is an essential part of a recovery kit. I would trust this thing in a tow hitch before I will, trust the shackles on the back of a bumper. This is a true recovery point when it comes to pulling yourself or pulling a friend out of a bad situation.
And there's no excuse not to have recovery points. If you've got a trailer hitch, or maybe you don't want to spend the $500, $600, $700 for a bumper, or go through all the cardboard and the welding and everything to build one, and at that probably costing a couple $100 building it yourself. You can, if you just get you a cheap trailer hitch, good factory one, but I mean, who's the people? U-Haul. Any of those, the good Class 3 hitch, you can get them off of Craigslist for near nothing, and put one of these things on the back of it. Now you have a tow point, and there's no reason to go off-road without a tow point. You don't want to be towing on your axles or any of the suspension system. None of that stuff, guys. Get one of these things. It's $30. I'm sorry, it's $40. It's cheap insurance. So now moving on to over 100. Now we're getting into some goodies, Josh.
Yeah, we are.
I like this. I like this a lot. I don't know that I'll ever get one. Actually, I think Matt was talking about getting one of these. Matt actually has a 2-inch receiver on his front as well, because he had Mark over at Detours build him a backbone. Is it the backbone? Yeah. a backbone, which is the winch that goes onto the factory bumper, the winch mount that goes onto the factory bumper. He had Mark put a 2-inch receiver on that, so he can actually tow the trailers around the yard from the front and back them into places a lot easier. Anyway, he was talking about getting one of these, and he could put it front or back. That's a pretty cool deal. Anyway, this is a Max Trail device. It's $159.99, but I guarantee you guys, you'll be damn glad you have it if you're out on the trail and you need to put something in a vise and you got one. Can you imagine the kind of hero you would be if somebody was broken down and they were trying to getting a universal joint out of a drive shaft and just wrestling with it like a monkey with a green banana trying to open that thing up. And you pulled out the vise and slid it in the 2-inch receiver. Oh, you would be they would sing praises about you from there on.
I've actually seen one of these in action, and just like Tony said, I mean, if you've ever tried to hammer out a U-joint cap out of a busted yoke or something like that with a couple of sockets and a dead blow hammer on the trail, you know how much of a pain in the butt that would be. This thing really takes, I mean, this is a vise. For all intents and purposes, this is a full-on man vise, guys. This thing will go into your trailer hitch, and yes, it will press out a U-joint. And yes, this thing will straighten out your bent up tie rod when you bash it down on a rock. I've seen this thing in action. They are bulletproof. You got to get one.
And $159 isn't bad. I paid $80 for mine in the shop. It's probably twice the size of this thing, but it's a bench vise.
And you know what? These things fit inside of a standard ammo can. So nice. For those of you guys who maybe have some ammo cans or laying around for storage, or you have one in your Jeep set up, guys, this is not XJ specific. A lot of this stuff is just off-road in general. This works for you Wrangler guys. This will work for any of your Toyota friends. Guys, this works on just about anything that has a 2-inch receiver for it. Slap this thing in there, and it is strong.
Now, we're not covering anything here in our Christmas list of goodies, but I will mention it, especially with this vise. Don't forget to tie the goodies down. You never know whenever you're going to nose over, roll over, or even go up. And if your nose goes up, then this is probably just going to go through the back glass. But wouldn't it be nicer if it was tied down and you didn't have to replace that back glass? So, of course, some of those guys are going, what glass? I don't have any glass in my Jeep.
Yeah. That's all been blown out a long time ago. Well, this is something that I've been eyeballing for a long, long time,
yeah,
and eventually I will get a set of these. They are a little bit on the higher end of the price range. This is around the $234 range, and give or take. And folks, again, these are Amazon prices. I urge you guys to head over to Amazon and pick these things up. Of course, we get the credit, and that's what it's all about. Of course, in the spirit of giving as well. These are the JKS 2200 front adjustable coilover spacers, otherwise known as ACOs. These are the adjustable coilover spacers. Now, what these are, instead of like those chunky spacers that you got to put in, or you're putting in the hockey pucks and things like that, those crappy neoprene or the polyurethane spacers and stuff. No, guys, this is like billet aluminum, and it's like anodized, and you get all kinds of cool stuff with it. Bump stops, the whole 9 yards. Plus, you got that adjustability. So if you got one side that's a little bit heavier than the other, your Jeep's not quite sitting level, these things will level it out. You just put a winch on, and now your front end is lower than your back end. These things will level it out. The ACOS, the JKS front adjustable coilover spacers, $234 on Amazon.com.
If you're traveling a little slow and the fat girl is able to catch up and jump in, you'll be able to adjust. You'll be able to adjust that side and ride level, and nobody will suspect you got a fat girl in the Jeep with you. So
that's right. Yeah.
Another thing to consider
on the passenger side. Yeah.
Any letters you want to write to Josh. That was Josh that said that.
For complaints, send them to Josh at xjtalk.com.
So here's I like the name of this one, the Bubba rope. It is a 1 by 1.5 by 30, and I'm sure that's 30 feet. Jumbo Bubba green-eyed vehicle recovery rope. Now, this won't work on red Jeeps. Well, I'm sorry, red Jeeps don't get stuck. Silly question.
Oh,
so
okay.
this is wow, $397.95. I guess this is, I didn't see the word synthetic, but this is synthetic rope, right?
It is. Guys, this is the end-all, be-all of recovery straps. This is utilizes all the available kinetic energy when you're talking about yanking somebody out of a hole.
Oh, okay.
So this thing does stretch. Now, just holding it in your hand, you're not going to get a whole lot of stretch out of it. But believe me, when that 30 feet gets taken up, your Jeep is going to travel about another 10 or 15 feet before the flexibility on this thing, the elasticity, is gone. And all of that kinetic energy that's stored up in that stretch, now all of a sudden is put right back into the guy who you're recovering, and he comes flying out of that hole without that big, hard jerk of an impact of a chain or a tow strap. All of a sudden, slack, all that slack coming up out of it.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is they work. They're soft. They're easy on both the recovery rig as well as the rig that's being recovered. And folks, for $400, it's going to be the last tow rope you will ever have to buy. But trust me, it works. And if for those of you who are out wheeling some of that really sticky, nasty clay, for those of you who like to play in the deep mud, this is definitely something that you should have in the back of your Jeep.
Now, Josh, while you're talking about this next one, I'm going to be holding up an actual Via Air 450C air compressor for our audience to look at, because I have mine that I haven't installed yet.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, yeah, my air compressor is not quite as fancy as this thing, but folks, this is the Via Air 450C model air compressor with maximum working pressure of 150 PSI. Now, folks, this does draw about 20 amps. This is a serious air compressor. This is definitely something that you would run a full dedicated onboard air system with tanks and stuff like that. This is capable of running a 1.66 CFM at 100 PSI. It's got a 100% duty cycle, meaning this thing pretty much doesn't shut off when it gets hot. This thing just keeps going and keeps going. Via Air has long since been known as an industry leader in onboard air compressors. And this thing's no exception. It's 12 volts. You can hook it up. This will fit in just about any engine compartment of a Wrangler. I know you've got the perfect spot over there on the driver's side. This will fit in. Guys, these things just plain work. They sell them for, on Amazon, $196. That's going to include a little bit of shipping, or you're going to have to, this qualifies for free shipping, in fact. At least it does right now. There's only 20 left in stock, so guys, get them while they last.
It is a huge hunk of metal, too. It is a very nice piece of equipment. I haven't actually turned it on yet, but it looks damn pretty, Josh. That's the reason. That's the reason why I got it, was that 100% duty cycle that you were just talking about.
Right. And folks, for those of you guys who have gone out there and purchased the $12.99 Harbor Freight air compressor, thinking that it's going to be ideal for you airing up your tires, you know that when it thermals out after 131-inch tire, that what we're talking about as far as duty cycle goes. 100% duty cycle means not only can you air up your tires, but you can air up your buddy's tires as well. This is a perfect entry to an onboard air system in the sense that you can hook up your air chuck directly to it, or later on down the road when funds are allowed, you can go ahead and hook up a tank to this thing and have yourself an onboard air system with a pressurized tank as well. So these things are modular, meaning you can relocate both the intake and the outtake, or the output of it. You can put the intake filter. You can run a hose from the intake of that into the cab. So if you're worried about sucking up dirty water or dirty air into the air compressor, you can relocate the intake on this thing. You can put a 30-foot hose on this thing, and it'll work just as good as if it was, a 10-foot hose. So, guys, it's a phenomenal air compressor, and I would highly recommend one.
Yeah, I was going to put this under the hood someplace, but with the snorkel and the hose and a bunch of other things, I probably will be mounting this not in the cargo area, because I do like to be able to have the space for the groceries. So I'll probably be trying to mount this thing under the passenger seat, and probably there. I was kind of hoping to keep it out of the cab so that it wouldn't be noise, because my vehicle still is a family vehicle, although the girls don't ride around it very much. They kind of ride around in theirs. But I do have plans. I do have a Via Air 2.5 gallon tank also to install, and I do have plans to mount a couple of quick air disconnects just above the sliders, so that I'll actually be able to have places on both sides, about the middle, where I can hook up a hose and and air up front and back tires from both sides. So in my mind, it's pretty cool.
Now, I will say one thing about the Viair air compressors. They are kind of loud, and they do run kind of hot, especially at the end of a good airing up session. So just be wary of that. I mean, you just touching it, and you will burn yourself. They do get that hot. Now, I'm not talking about glowing red hot, but you definitely want them in an area where they have some decent air circulation. Under a seat, I might be a little hesitant about that, especially if you're going to, plan on maybe laying it on its side or something like that. Folks, these are not exactly small air compressors, as you saw when Tony held this thing up. It's not something you can just stuff in the glove box or hide underneath the back seat. They need a little bit of space to work. So when you're picking up one of these things, just kind of plan on that you're going to have to put it somewhere where it may kind of sort of get in the way. That's why I like my portable one more so than something like this, just because I can stash it away with the rest of my gear in the back and take it out and put it in another vehicle if I have to.
Yeah, that is nice. But what I'll probably do is just have a portable and a fixed.
There you go.
That way I'll be able to have one that I can move around. And I like the idea of having this one because I have a tank and I have a set of air horns to install with it as well. So,
oh yes, you do, don't you?
So I really need to
get on that, man. Before next spring and summer, you got to have some air horns on that.
There was a nice opportunity here about a week ago to use the air horns, and now I still need to get the relay hooked up for shock and awe, so I can flip the brights and all the LEDs come on. The air horn activates, and of course the 110 watt. IPFs, what'd you call them? IPFs?
Yeah, IPF.
The 110 halogens come on, and they know that I'm not appreciative of them pulling that close in front of me. All right, so we need to. That's running a little long, but
that's all right, guys. That's a great list of items there for all of your off-road enthusiasts out there. Gals, if you're listening, these are any one of these items. I know I would be happy to find one of these under the tree. But add them to your wish list. I wouldn't mind having each and every one of these items. A couple of them I already do.
Hey guys, this is Andy from Ironman4x45.com, also known as Ironman Andy, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Hey you! Yeah, you! The one just sitting there listening to the XJ Talk Show. Why aren't you a part of it? What? Tell me more, you say? Well, it's pretty simple. You can become an XJ Talk Show reporter. All you need is a smartphone and the ability to talk to people. Just email reporter@xjtalk.com for more information.
xjtalk.com.
And now for a disclaimer. Jeep Tips is for entertainment purposes only. If you choose to follow these tips, man up and take the responsibility for your own actions. If you cannot, or you feel that working on your Jeep is beyond your abilities, seek the help or advice of a trained certified mechanic.
Got a tip? We do. It's time for Jeep Tips.
And here's this week's Jeep tip with Steve, 4.3 LXJ. Steve, take it away.
Thanks, Tony. It's good to be back again. Today I'd like to talk about cheap front-end lifts, and I'd kind of like this podcast to go along with the one that we did on bastard packs. We can use some wrecking yard parts to lift the front of our XJs, but we have to kind of be a little bit smarter about it than we did with bastard packs. You can get about a 2-inch lift by using V8 Grand Cherokee coils, or V8 ZJ coils. The V8 is a little heavier, and the coils have a little higher spring rate. And even though they're the same length, they will lift the front of your Jeep up about 1 3/4 inches if you have a 4-liter. You're going to get a little more lift if you have a 4-cylinder or a V6 because those front ends are lighter. You can fine-tune that by grabbing the isolators, the rubber isolators that are at the top of the spring when you get those coils, and those are good for about 1/2 inch. So you can stack those with the ones that you have and sort of bring it wherever you want. So if you wanted a real 2-inch lift, you could use your V8 ZJ coils, one more isolator, and that'll give you just slightly over 2 inches to go with, say, a 2-inch shackle or a 2-inch add-a-leaf. You can use stock brake lines for this, your stock track bar, and not have to do anything else. A 2-inch is just a mild lift and no problem. Now, when you want to get a little taller, things change. You can use some 2-inch polyurethane spacers. They're available from several companies, and they're not very expensive. They're about $40, I think, or something like that. And you can add those to your V8 ZJ coils, and you can get about 3.75 inches out of it. So that's a good combination to go with your S10 Bastard Pack, let's say, because it'll be pretty close to even on that. But there are some other things you have to do when you go up that extra 2 inches. First of all, you've got to either relocate your brake lines or get some YJ brake lines and put those in instead, because your stock brake lines are not going to be tall or long enough anymore. So to relocate them, all you have to do is remove the screw. It's a Torx screw, naturally, and take that out, and there's a little bracket there that has a little tab on it that goes into a hole, and that screw that you take out is a self-tapper. So you can straighten that brake line out, take the bend out of it, move it down about 2 inches, drill 2 holes, one for the tab and one for that self-tapping screw, reinsert the self-tapper, or get one with a regular hex head on it, which would be better for you, and just screw it in, and then you have a relocated brake line. Or you can simply go get a YJ brake line if you need new ones anyway, and put those in. Now the track bar, once you get up that high, is going to have a little work done on it. Now you can either buy an aftermarket track bar, or you can relocate the one that you have up to 1 inch. So the first thing that you need to do is determine how much lateral adjustment that you need out of your track bar. So what the thing to do is undo it and take ratchet straps or whatever you need to move the Jeep over so that the axle is centered underneath it. And to figure that out, use a level. Just a regular 2-foot carpenter's level is fine. I've got a contractor's level that I use, and you need to make a measurement on both sides and adjust your ratchet straps and so forth down so that your axle is where you want it. Then what you do is you mark the new location on the axle track bar bracket, and like I say, you can get about up to 1 inch of relocation this way. You want to use a 3/8 drill bit, and don't wobble it or try to hog it out or anything like that. You want a nice tight fit, because if you get movement there, you're going to get death wobble. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So drill a nice tight 3/8 inch hole, then take the track bar and line it up there in the hole so that you can slip the drill bit through the new hole and through the bushing on the track bar to the back side. Then continue drilling a nice tight hole again, and then you'll have your new hole ready. Now I like to use self-locking nuts on the back side of those. Kind of a pain to get the wrench in there and everything, but self-locking nuts are real handy, because that way you don't have to worry about having your track bar bolt come undone and get an oval hole, which you'd have to repair later. So after you've done that and get it all bolted up, you're going to have a front end alignment. No matter how high you go, you're going to want to correct your steering wheel. You can do that in your own shop just by making some measurements on the edge of the tires, and you want to have about 1/8 of an inch of toe in on those tires, so that the edges are a little bit narrower than the back, about 1/8 of an inch. Then you can straighten out your steering wheel. Adjustment for that is up by the Pitman arm on the steering box, and then you can drive it down to your local alignment shop and get that done upright, and it'll steer nice and straight for you. Now, when you do all of this, there's sort of something you really need to pay attention to here, and that's caster angle. And we run into a lot of death wobble when we start doing these taller lifts, and that's, a 4-inch lift or 3.5-inch lift is not that tall, but it's tall enough that it rotates the axle forward due to the geometry of the suspension links. And when this happens, if you've got anything that's loose up there, such as an egged out track bar mounting, or your frame track bar is loose, or you've got a loose joint in your track bar, or you've got loose tie rod ends, ball joints, whatever, it's going to give you some death wobble. And if you've ever had it, you know exactly what it is. The Jeep starts shaking and it seems like it's just going to fly apart, although it won't. But that's why they call it death wobble, because you think you're going to die. And the only way you can stop it usually is just to slow down to almost a crawl on the side of the road and just let it run itself out. So when you do this lift, this junkyard lift, you've got to make sure that everything's tight on that front end. And I would recommend that after you do this and you go down the road of life, that you save up your pennies and then you get some adjustable lower track bar, or you can get one that's the right length for your lift. But I prefer an adjustable set because at some point you may want to go higher. Everybody does. And if you want to do that, say you want to go up another inch or something like that, you can take your adjustable track bar and lengthen it out to what it needs to be, and then you won't have to buy those parts again. Now, if you do go higher than this, bear in mind that even though you've got your adjustable lower links, you're going to have to get an adjustable track bar that's made for this purpose, because with this lift at 3.75 inches, you've really got to the limit of what you can do with a stock track bar. So if you're going to go any higher, even just a little bit, it's going to cost you some money, and you're going to have to be prepared to start spending more to get that additional height. Now, this is a good lift, as I said, to go with your S10 Bastard Pack, which is about 3.5 inches, so real close. And also remember that you can stack the coil isolators, the stock ones. They're good for about a 1/2 inch a piece, so you can fine-tune your lift height that way. And you're going to want to experiment a little bit with it and get it just right. You probably won't have it exactly the way you want it the first time, and that's just a price that you pay when you use things like Bastard Packs and junkyard parts. You kind of end up doing things more than once, but you do save a lot of money. So if you're prepared to do this and spend the time with your rig, then you can have an inexpensive lift and go out and have a good time wheeling and get over some things that you might not be able to get over before.
Hey, thanks a lot, Steve. We really appreciate you being back. And if you guys couldn't tell, Steve actually pre-recorded that for us and sent it to us via our Dropbox that we have for the show. And you can do the exact same thing. We'd love to hear your tips, your interesting stories, abductions, butt plug incidents. No, only if it's part of the abduction.
Yeah.
So, but any of that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Steve always gives us some great information on when he does the Jeep tips, and just a little bit of clarification, folks. When he's talking about adjustable lower links, I think he was talking about the adjustable lower control arms. Almost a must-have if you're going anything over 3 inches. And of course, if you guys don't want to mess with an adjustable track bar, you guys can get a track bar relocation bracket. I believe Skyjacker makes one that's under $20, and it's available at just any four-wheel drive shop, and I think you can even get them on Amazon.com.
Hey, we want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. That's coming up next Wednesday, less than a week away. So, get over there to Amazon.com and get some of those stocking stuffers. I'm sure your significant other wouldn't mind having some RC quick disconnects, and it's better that than a fishing pole or a bowling ball, right?
And what girl doesn't like to get an air compressor under the tree?
Yeah, she would say it blows. Oh no, another bad joke from Tony. Yes, thank you.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, guys, wait a minute. I see an opportunity. Again, wait. I see an opportunity here.
All right. There it is. And the crowd goes mild. Guys, if you want to join in like Denver D1 did, like Nikki G or even Steve 4.3 LXJ, we encourage you guys to get out there and start recording and hook up with us. See what we can do to get your stuff on the air. Of course, you guys can always give us a call. 530-675-4102. It's a 24/7 voicemail line. Go ahead and leave us a message. And of course, we encourage you guys, just like we mentioned earlier, head over to Amazon.com to finish up your Christmas shopping. Make sure you click on the banner from XJ Talk Show or xjtalk.com before you do anything.
And of course, next week on Amazon, you bought and what? And that'll be the day after Christmas. So that'll be kind of neat to give away a gift certificate. Truly, the XJ Talk Show, the gift that keeps on giving.
Keeps on giving, as long as I keep screwing up, which I've made a pretty good habit of so far. So
yeah,
let's see if I can't break my giving spirit. I guess my giving streak.
And hey, don't forget to prescription.
What you said.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/channel/xjtalk, and you can see, admittedly currently on-road adventures that I'm having, but soon to be off-road because the oil leak is fixed and it's not overheating. Gosh, I might actually be able to drive far enough to go off-road someplace. It's Texas. There's billions with a B, billions of acres, and it's all fenced. So I have to drive an hour so I can go off-road. So, I think I have a legitimate excuse.
Yes, you do. And folks, there's no excuse for you guys to find us on Facebook, to find us on Twitter, Google+, and of course, Tumblr as well. Be sure to head over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review, check us out on Stitcher, Zune, and of course, head over to xjtalkshow.com.
We haven't had an iTunes review since November the 30th. What the hell's wrong with you people? Yes, I said hell with the middle of Christmas music because you guys need to go over to iTunes and leave a review. Not right. You, Denver D1. I know what you'll put, but 5 stars. Actually, I don't care what you say. Just make it 5 stars.
Yeah, definitely help us climb the charts, as it were. So make sure you guys are giving a little bit of props and kudos to your favorite off-road podcast.
So a very Merry Christmas to all our listeners, subscribers.
And a Happy New Year.
Yes. Well, we're gonna be on.
We will be back. Yeah, we will be back before New Year's. That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, Merry Christmas to all listeners, subscribers, and especially those of you that participate in our show. Josh, that includes you because the show is here, and then you joined it, and the rates have skyrocketed since. I mean, we were at 20, and now we're at like 150 to 200. So that's a skyrocket. I mean, that is a significant improvement.
Very good. Well, thank you for the kind words, Tony. And of course, I couldn't be doing this without you. So Merry Christmas to you too, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And Merry Christmas to all of you guys. We'll see you next week, the day after, I was going to say Thanksgiving. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't play it. I was going to play the turkey thing. Anyway, the day after Christmas, we'll be here, and we hope you will be too.
See you guys then.
And we are out.
Good show, Tony. Good show.
So, I pressed the stop on the button. Let's see, what was it? Maybe it tells me.
Well, that was an hour and 24 minutes by my clock.
Yeah, this is, it says 18 minutes, 46 seconds on the second recording because it starts a new recording at an hour. So that's an hour and 18 minutes. Not too bad. So, wow, I just, I was going to go over here and dig around in the comments, and I was just, I got busy with water and going to the bathroom and everything, and wow, what a big load of comments. That didn't come out exactly right. What a bunch a bunch of great comments.
Yeah, we had a few guys in there tonight. I was popping in there every now and again and cracking wise. So
yeah, ho ho. It's the only time of year you can say that to a girl and not get slapped.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and let me get to work here on the script.
Alrighty.
For promo here. We are going to record one, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And let's see. I don't know. Maybe Jim's already gone to bed. Let's see.
Yeah, he said he was going to head out.
That bastard. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. He says, "All right, fellas, need to hit the sack. Great show, and have a good night." Yeah, he dropped out. Not too long ago, about 10-15 minutes ago. Anyway, what I was going to mention, and hoping he was there, is I saw someplace here on YouTube where you can set up moderators. Just like they did on Ustream, or not YouTube, but just like Ustream did, where they had moderators for the comments. And I was going to warn him that I was going to screw him over again and make him a moderator. So I'm going to poke around with that here a little bit and see if I can't find it real quick.
True.
So what'd you think of the new segment? That was kind of like Amazon You Bought What normally, with the exception that we're just suggesting items to get for Christmas.
You know, Tony, I really like it. One, because we're talking about goods. You know, we're talking about stuff that bolts on, that screws on, that modifies, that goes in the back of, that helps out. It's not tech, but it is tech. I don't know, it's good stuff, and maybe we need to think about doing something. Maybe we pick a couple Amazon items of the month or Amazon items of the week or something like that, and we do what we just did. Add them to your wish list, and this is our thoughts on them. This is, if you guys didn't know about this is out there type thing, and we covered a very good cross section tonight. We got just about everything.
Yeah. I wish there was I'm sorry. I was going to say, I wish there was. I bet you there is. I wish there was a resource that I knew about that came out with information on things like new things or things maybe that have been around that the majority of people aren't aware of. There for a long time, I didn't know about the air down things that you could screw onto your tire stems. And
the stones. Yeah.
Actually, there's several manufacturers, but where you could screw those things onto the tire stems and you set the pressure. So you screw them on and then drive. Go off, start driving to where you need to go off road at. And probably by the time you get there, you're down to 8 PSI, 10 PSI, whatever it is you set it for. And I did not know that they made things like that until recently. So,
really?
Yeah. And the way I look at it is if I don't know about it, somebody else doesn't either.
Yeah, well, that's a very good point. Yeah. I've been around the off-roading world for many years, and I've known about those things for a long time, and I heard about them on Dan's podcast, and I didn't want to. That podcast, that show was actually probably one of his better ones, in fact. But he went down the list of a couple. There was a couple items in his list that I didn't know about either, like that little portable iPod-sized jump pack type thing where he actually ran a winch off of it.
Well, that wasn't Dan. That was Craig.
Well, that was his buddy.
Yeah, I was listening to that on the way home today, and that was their Christmas list that they were going through, and that was right. They started talking about that, and I had to hold back because I was going to do a whole segment talking about throttle body spacers, tornado. Things that you put into your throttle body that spins the air, that gives you better gas mileage. Oh, and the never having to charge battery pack that's the size of a pickle. In fact, it runs on pickle juice. Anyway, I just had this whole thing I was going to rant on because I don't care. I know it's the 21st century, but I'm not buying that iPod size battery that can run a winch and pull a trailer.
I took that with a grain of salt, But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it must have been an awfully small winch. I don't know. I'm not doubting that technology is out there. I'm not doubting that it's possible. I mean, he winched out and winched a car back with. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I need to see a video, man. I'm gonna have to call up the show and call BS.
Yes,
and see. It's like, all right, we're gonna need to see a video of this guy. So
actually,
if you do it once, you can do it again.
Actually, that would probably be pretty funny just to go in and say, I pulled out my my tornado. I can't remember what that thing's called. You know what I'm talking about, right? The thing that they were selling
for the piece of metal that goes into your intake tube. That vortexes the air.
Make a vortex for the air. I took out my tornado vortex thing and several things like that. All these infomercial things. And but I'm sorry, I can't believe your iPod-sized battery running a winch and dragging an aircraft carrier into port and et cetera, et cetera. They'd probably love that. They'd probably play that and then go about talking about it and showing how it would work. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's lying, but he says that it happened, but I find it very hard to believe that anything the size of an iPad has the current capacity to run a winch, even a foot, even just to pull it in a foot, because that's a high current device.
It might have the voltage, but
the current.
And he said it didn't even get hot. Yeah. I'm calling bullshit. I'm sorry.
It was interesting, It got me wound up.
Yeah, no, I was definitely paying attention. I mean, they covered the stawns and the whole hammock thing and stuff like that. I mean, there was a portable fuel cell that will run off of beer, urine, river water. I mean, you name it. And I thought, wow, really? I didn't, I don't think that fuel cells work off of beer, but okay.
Well, they work off
in beer. Why not?
Yeah, they work off of water, but I can't. Well, I would be concerned about. I would think that the dielectric would get that stuff stuck to it.
Yeah.
That the purer the water, the better. Although maybe you can rinse it out. Maybe you can take it apart and rinse it out. I don't know.
True.
Because all they have is a membrane in between the plates, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how many is in there. But anyway. No, I have no doubt that we'll see a technology someday where we can power things, high current things. But I think room temperature superconductors have to come about before we're going to see that.
Yeah.
Because, what size wires you have to have on winches. You get a winch on your Jeep now, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
I got a Smitty built because I got a screaming deal. It was $100.
Hey, I got one on the TJ. So
yeah. So yeah, the XRC8, and I relocated the solenoid pack to inside the engine compartment, and I will be doing in-cab winch controls here pretty soon.
Yeah, I need to hook mine up. I got a lot of stuff to do to mine. A lot of that has to do with some seemingly insurmountable problems, and now that the running hot and the oil leak problem has been solved, I feel a lot more energized about putting stuff on it and taking it places, going places and doing things with it. It's kind of hard to do whenever you're continuously leaking oil and watching the temperature on the engine. It's just it's not pleasant. I mean, it has its pleasance to it, but you get used to driving back and forth to work because it'll make it. You'll know what you got to do, and going further than that is a big unknown. Also, too, I'm a little concerned about how far the 2.5 gallon Via Air tank is going to hang down, because I'm planning on mounting it under the driver's side passenger area, and I need to get the I need to get the jack underneath there and jack it up to the bottom of the floor, and then sit back and take some, basically look and see how far it's down. If it's not below the sliders, I'm not going to worry about it.
There are, I want to say there's a bracket kit. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Oh, I know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the, I think it's from Detours. Maybe it's Dirtbound USA. It's the rack that goes in the back windows along the sides.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen the guys mount the 2.5 gallon tanks to those.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that. I ain't doing that. Keeping my stuff preferably out of the cargo area, the cab area, and certainly not going to put it on something that's next to glass. Of course, if I'd done what Mark told me to do, I would have a CO2 tank in there, but I don't like the idea of having to go fill the thing up. Well, guys, this is where we wrap up the post show, and Josh has been busily working on our little not skit, not stock, not score. What is it? Script.
It's the script for our video promo, which you guys will be seeing on YouTube here very shortly.
Yeah, and we're going to turn the camera back on and record our little video promo. And of course, you'll also hear this if you'll hear the script that we have here at the front of our podcast, because whenever I go to edit the show and put that out, I stick that on the front of it, so you kind of get an idea what the show's all about. And I want to thank you very much for being here with us tonight. And I'll just roll some music here while I'm saying this. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time out to come here and watch us record the show. It makes us very happy when we see people joining in and watching us. It's a little extra work putting the video on, and it means a lot to me when you guys show up. So if you enjoyed the live show, please tell your friends, and of course, don't forget, the only way you can win an Amazon gift card in our Amazon You Bought and What contest is to be at the live show, because we take call-ins. And if you can't call in, you can't win. So have a very Merry Christmas. I'll let Josh say his goodbyes, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Merry Christmas to all of you still listening, and we'll see you next time.